Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia, home of the Melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys another Dark Lunalight combo tutorial. So in this video, we're actually exploring 3 different combos. We're starting off very basic with just 2 cards, and we're slowly gonna work our way up, building upon the concepts from each previous combo, so that by the end of the video, you can see a bigger, more impressive board. Alright, so without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. So starting off, we need 2 cards for this first combo, which allows you to easily access something like Witch's Apprentice with Evil Swarm Nightmare. Now previously, the only way we could achieve this is if we opened up with a Summoner Monk, a spell card for Monk to discard, and either Tiger, Perfume, or another form of Revival to get that extra monster on board for the rank 4. But now we only need 2 cards. We have Lunalight Tiger and we have Kaleido Chick. So Tiger, of course, being the Revival here, and Kaleido Chick being able to send your Yellow Marten in order to set up. So let's just go ahead and play through this. It's a very simple play, but it's very important, the underlying concepts of it. So using your Lunalight Kaleido Chick that we just summoned, we're going to send a copy of Lunalight Yellow Marten from our deck to the graveyard. Now, as a first turn play, you obviously want some defensive capabilities in this deck, and Dark Lunalights are very flexible. You can change from defensive to offensive in a skip of a beat. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Tiger's Scale effect to bring back the Yellow Marten from the graveyard, and then we're going to link both of these into our Witch's Apprentice. Now we're halfway there in establishing our field, and from here it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Lunalight Yellow Marten can go ahead and bounce the Lunalight Tiger from our field back to our hand, bringing itself back from the graveyard, and now we can scale the Tiger, use its effect, bring back the Kaleido Chick, and Kaleido Chick can go ahead and send any other Lunalight card from our deck to the graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and just throw in the Emerald Bird for the sake of it. Now what we can do here is we can go ahead and XYZ into our Evil Swarm Nightmare, which provides 2 disruptions in and of itself. So it's actually a very powerful card to utilize in something like Dark Lunalights. So this was just a 2-card combo, gave you 3 cards actually, so you went +1 with this. You have your Tiger for next turn, you have Marten that's still in circulation under the Evil Swarm Nightmare, and you have Witchling and Nightmare here. Witchling floats, and Nightmare of course disrupts your opponent. So that does it for the first combo. I will see you in just a bit for the second one. Alright guys, so welcome back to our second combo of the video. Now with this combo right here, we see we have a little different hand that we're starting out with. We're starting out with 1 copy of Lunalight Kaleido Chick, 1 copy of Lunalight Perfume, and the 3rd card is actually just any card for you to discard. It could be a monster, spell, or trap, it really doesn't matter because the fact that Perfume doesn't care what you're discarding in order to search with it. So, what we have here is a hand that can potentially make a pretty strong field in terms of negation. So the previous combo we explored had disruption in the form of Evil Swarm Nightmare, but now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on negation, and particularly on the Phantom Knight trap card. So we have 2 copies of Fogblade in our deck that we have the ability to search out and utilize on our opponent's turn. So let's just jump right into this play. So the first thing we're going to do is normal summon our Lunalight Kaleido Chick. Now this can also be replaced by Armageddon Knight, just like in the previous combo. So we're going to go ahead and activate Lunalight Kaleido Chick's effect, and the first thing we're going to do is send a copy of Lunalight Yellow Marten from our deck to the graveyard. Now, we also have a Lunalight Perfume here, no Tiger, but that is completely fine. So we're going to go ahead and activate the Perfume to revive the Yellow Marten from the graveyard, and then using Perfume's effect, we can go ahead and actually search for that Lunalight Tiger by discarding any random card that's in your hand. So we're going to go ahead and add that Lunalight Tiger from our deck to our hands. So now we can go for a lot of our shenanigans. So here we're going to use both of our monsters just like the previous combo. We're going to go ahead and summon Witch's Apprentice with both of our darks right here, and now we can go ahead and scale our Lunalight Tiger and use her effect to bring back the Lunalight Kaleido Chick. So this is very similar in concept to the previous combo that we just did, utilizing Marten's effect to put more bodies on your side of the field. So we're going to go ahead and activate Kaleido Chick, and at this point you can send whatever you want to the graveyard. I prefer sending something like Emerald Bird. If you had Crimson Fox, you can send that as well. Now what we're going to do is use Lunalight Yellow Martin's effect in the graveyard and bounce back this Lunalight Tiger. The key to utilizing a successful build of Lunalights with this new support is to abuse Tiger as much as possible. The more you're able to use Tiger, the more monsters you're able to put on onto your side of the field, and that means the more damage that you can potentially do if you're going for an OTK build. But also with a build like this, you can have so much access to utility and different play strings. It's absolutely insane. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and XYZ into a copy of Raid Raptor Forstrix. I was never a fan of this card before the new Lunalight support, but now that it's out, oh boy, you have so many potential plays that you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and search out a copy of Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, who will be discarded to the graveyard in just a bit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and scale our Lunalight Tiger that we bounced back earlier, and we're going to special summon that Kaleido chick back from our graveyard. It's important that you detach the Kaleido chick and not the Martin, just so that you have the extra ability to thin out your deck by another card. So we're going to go ahead and send a copy of White Rabbit to the graveyard. It really doesn't matter at this point what you're sending. So what we can do here is we can go and link summon into a copy of Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion, and Curious, as usual in Dark Lunalights, allows you to go ahead and send very important cards for your deck to the graveyard. Now usually we send something like a Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, but because we search it out with Forstrix, you are able to go ahead and send a copy of Perfume. So Curious is going to go ahead and mill 3 more cards. If you mill something that has an effect that can activate, such as Emerald Bird or whatever, you can always utilize that effect to bring back some of your Lunalight monsters. It's always good. That means you have more materials in order to work with. But now that we have the Perfume in our graveyard, we can actually utilize it here. Gonna go ahead and banish it. To go for a search, we're gonna go ahead and discard the Zephyros from our hand. Now the card I'm gonna search for is another copy of Lunalight Tiger, because Tiger just puts another body on our side of the field, which is exactly what we want. So Zephyros is going to go ahead, and before we even do that, we're going to summon it to our side of the field, and with one of our tigers, we're going to rescale her, use her effect, and bring back our Kaleido chick yet again. This is this is just tiger abuse at its finest. So now Kaleido chick can go ahead and send a copy of Lunalight Wolf to the graveyard. It doesn't really matter. Now that we have basically all of our one-ofs out of the deck, it's pretty good, because if you draw into a copy of Black Sheep or anything of that sort, you can recover them from the graveyard fairly easily. Now what I'm going to do is scale the other copy of Lunalight Tiger, activate her effect, and we're going to special summon out anything that we want at this point from our graveyard. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring back the Emerald Bird, and all their effects are negated, so it doesn't matter. Now what we're doing here is we're going to go for a copy of the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardache. Now Bardache right here allows us to go and link with all 3 of our monsters away so that we can activate its effect to send a copy of the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots from our deck to the graveyard. Now this allows us to go ahead and set a copy of the Phantom Knights Fogblade from our deck to our side of the field. Now we have the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots in our graveyard that we can banish and search out yet another copy of the Phantom Knights of Fogblade, so we can go ahead and set that as well. So now, with just that string of plays, you have a Curious that can float, you have a Bardache that can actually come back if you banish your Fogblades from your graveyard, and speaking of the Fogblades, you have 2 of them for 2 negations against your opponent. So unlike the other board with Evil Swarm Nightmare, where you're just disrupting them and maybe stopping link summons or whatnot, you have Fogblade in this case that can negate your opponent's monster effects and prevent them from attacking. You also have 2 copies of Lunalight Tiger on your side of the field, and you have a copy of Yellow Martin in your graveyard in circulation, so that next turn you can go for some more follow-up plays. This deck is absolutely insane on follow-up plays, and you can easily OTK your opponent on your second turn. You just have to make sure that you survive your first one, which is something that pure Lunalights really do lack. So with this build, you're able to access things like the Phantom Knights Fogblade, which give you negation on top of potential disruption. But we'll explore that in the 3rd combo. Alright guys, so for the 3rd and final combo of today's video, we're going to go ahead and combine both of the concepts that we learned in the first 2 combos into this play. Now this play results in a field of Evil Swarm Nightmare backed with a copy of Fogblade, which means you have 3 interactions with your opponent. 2 of them means flipping your opponent's special summon monsters face down, and 1 of them allows you to negate your opponent's monster effect. So it is actually a very good combo, very accessible as well, and all you need need are these 3 starter cards. So the first one is a copy of Lunalight Kaleido. Now this could be substituted for a copy of Tenki or a copy of Armageddon Knight because they fulfill the same purpose of sending things to the graveyard and setting up your plays. We also have a copy of Lunalight Tiger as Revival. She's also searchable by Tenki. And then the only unsearchable piece here is a copy of Lunalight Perfume, but it's very important to have Perfume because she enables this play that I like to call the trifecta, but we'll get to that when we get there. So starting off with our plays, we're going to normal summon our Lunalight Kaleido, and Kaleido can activate her effect to go ahead and send a copy of Yellow Marten to the graveyard. These seem to be very standard, right? Yellow Marten has a great interaction with our Lunalight Tiger, which we are going to scale and bring back from the graveyard. So now that I have 2 dark monsters on the field, I can go for my generic Wee Witch's Apprentice, which just requires 2 dark monsters, and she has a bottom left, bottom right arrow, so I can, special summon more of my extra deck monsters to her zones. So now that I've used Tiger's effect, I'm going to go ahead and activate the Marten, bringing itself back from the graveyard but bouncing the Tiger, which allows Tiger to activate once more, bringing back the Kaleido from your graveyard. Now it's very important that you don't forget Kaleido's effects here to just randomly send whatever Lunalights you want to the graveyard. They're not important to your combos. So this is just allowing you to thin out your deck and potentially draw into some of your more power cards if you're playing those, like Monster Reborn, Soul Charges, and things like that on your subsequent turns. So the next thing we're going to do is actually summon our Raid Raptor Forstrix. Now this is important because we're searching out the second piece of the trifecta, the first being Lunalight Perfume. So I'm going to go ahead and detach Kaleido because Marten's already used her effect, so there's no point in putting her back in the graveyard for now, and we searched out a copy of Zephyros with our Forstrix. Now here, we're required to use our Perfume because Tiger has already used her effect on the field. We're going to go ahead and special summon that Kaleido that we just detached back from our graveyard, and now Kaleido can go ahead and send some more Lunalight cards there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just dump that White Rabbit because we don't really need her in the deck. And now what I can do is not go for this Perfume Banish. You're more likely than not going to be very tempted to want to do that, to send the Zephyros, but we have a even better play, actually. So save that Perfume in your graveyard, and instead go for your Curious play first. So we're going to go ahead and summon Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion, and what Curious is going to do is she's going to send a copy of Yellow Marten. She? I don't actually know, I think it's a he. Anyway, Yellow Marten's going to go activate its effect, and now we can go ahead and search out a copy of Lunalight Serenade Dance. This is the third piece of the trifecta, and Curious is going to go ahead, mill 3 cards. If you mill something good like Emerald Bird or whatever, you can go ahead and trigger their effects, but we're just using Tenkis as placeholders for now. So here, we have Perfume in the graveyard, so now we can go ahead and banish that to go for a search. And we're going to pitch the Lunalight Serenade Dance, which is very important over here. The order of plays do matter. And what we're going to search out is we're going to search out a second copy of Lunalight Tiger, because Tiger essentially puts another body on our side of the field, which is very nice. Now, Serenade Dance is going to go ahead and banish this out from the graveyard to go ahead and discard Zephyros. And speaking of putting bodies on the field, we can go ahead and special summon any Lunalight we want from our deck. Now, if you had a spare Lunalight monster in your hand, you can go ahead and summon out your Emerald Bird here and just get a free draw, thin out your deck, all that good stuff. But we're going to assume that we don't have anything else, and we're going to go for a Kaleido. Now, the Kaleido can, again, thin out your deck, sending whatever you don't need into the graveyard so you can bring it back later with things like your Black Sheep. And now what we can do is we can actually activate our Zephyros, bouncing back our Lunalight Tiger that's in our scale that we've already used to bring itself back. Then we can go ahead and activate Tiger yet again, bringing more monsters back from the graveyard. Now at this point, it does not matter what you bring back from the graveyard because you're using this to link summon. So to link summon, we use all 3 of these dark monsters on our field to go for the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardache. Now, Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardache is fantastic here because you can go ahead, send your Silent Boots from the deck to the graveyard to go ahead and set the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigadine. Now, Brigadine is very important, and there's a reason why I run one copy of it in this deck is because it allows you a lot of flexibility with your plays. Now, of course, your Silent Boots can go ahead and search out the copy of Fogblade, the actual negation trap card here. You could have set 2 copies of Fogblade with your Bardache at this point, just like in one of the previous combos, but it's not really that worth it because the fact that you can go ahead and use your tiger in your pendulum scale, go ahead and bring back another level 4 monster from your graveyard. In this case, I'll probably just bring back another Kaleido chick. It really doesn't matter. Kaleido chick can potentially send another card from your deck to the graveyard, so I'm gonna go ahead and just send the other copy of Emerald Bird. Now, at this point, you're going to go ahead and activate the Phantom Knight's Shade Brigandine. Because you control no trap cards in your graveyard, you can activate the Turnail set, and you can go for a rank 4 play. So, you can go for things like Karen Gorgon, you can go for things like Evil Swarm Nightmare. Nightmare is probably the better disruptive card. Karen Gorgon's more of a defensive, protect your fortress type of card. So, at this point, when you XYZ a Dark XYZ monster to a zone that Bardache points to, you can activate its effect to pop a card on your side of the field, and you could potentially pop Lunalight Tigers if you, say you hit Emerald Bird off of Curious and you got an extra Lunalight monster on your side of the field. You can do that and make another rank 4. You can make a Karen Gorgon or whatever. That'd be fantastic, but that's all up to luck, so we're just going to assume that we don't have anything here, so we're not going to activate his effect. Of course, if you're going second, you could use this to pop your opponent's stuff, but then again, if you're going second, you probably wouldn't be going for Evil Swarm Nightmare. We're going to go ahead and set the Fog Blade to our side of the field, and that concludes the combo. You have 2 copies of Tiger on your side of the field with a Yellow Marten in your graveyard as well, so that means you have a lot of potential follow-up plays on your next turn. Curious can float and potentially add back something like your Lunalight Wolf to go for your fusion plays. Bardache can also potentially float with something like Fog Blade. If your Fog Blade gets destroyed, you can banish it from the graveyard and special summon your Bardache back from your graveyard as well. So you have a lot of potential to swarm your field, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But this concludes this combo tutorial, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.